Those are top headlines from West Africa at this hour. Now, OnePort 365 has raised $5 million in seed funding to drive the end-to-end digitization of freight management in Africa and support its expansion into new markets across the continent. Here, Sola Usidame, CEO and founder of OnePort 365, joins us to discuss this. Here, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
And thank you very much for having me in the session.
I'd like you to start, first of all, to start with helping us to understand the business model here. I mean, freight business in Africa, especially in a country like Nigeria, is quite a tricky business. But here you are using innovation, technology to sort of make life easy for everyone. But help us understand this business model.
Right. So thanks again for having me on the session, Esther. Our model is basically to focus on streamlining cross-border trade and the movement of cargo for African traders in Africa. Like you said, it's a very opaque system. It's highly fragmented in terms of structure. There are a lot of bottlenecks in terms of processes and all of that. One of the major challenges that actually leads to those bottlenecks is the fact that, for example, movement of cargo on ocean freight takes as much as 10 to 14 days just to make a booking and just to generate a quote and make a booking for the movement of cargo, let's say from Kano, which is northern Nigeria, to the port of Rotterdam. There's still a heavily manual and opaque system that's still behind the system. We're heavily focused on digitizing that process, solving the issues around the booking process, cutting down that process from a 10 to 14 days to an instant booking process. So part of what I tend to use in terms of technologies is compare what we're doing to streamlining the way the airline sector was able to move away from going to the airport to basically buy an airline ticket 30 years ago, which was a scenario. You want to fly from, let's say, Lagos to New York, you have to go to Lagos Murtala Mohammed Airport and spend the whole day or sit there with a travel agent. Till today, 30 years after what we're doing, you can get on certain platforms and you can make those bookings within a 15-30 seconds process, within a 15-30 seconds timeline. We're basically digitizing that same process as well, solving the challenges around the booking platforms, the booking process, from a 10 to 14 days booking process to an instant booking process using technology. We're providing visibility. As much as 75-80% of cargo moving on the roads in terms of containerized freight in Africa have zero visibility on it. So what you're having is a scenario whereby trucks being driven by truck drivers who are earning on average $200,000, $400 a month, are basically moving cargo worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. You're having to rely on these guys to tell you what the position of this cargo. So we're aiding that in terms of streamlining that process with visibility. We're also simplifying the payment process into a single payment process solution. And then lastly, we're solving the major challenge around documentation. It's very paper and pen system. In the midst of COVID 2 years ago, we had a lot of people who were actually queuing up around shipping line offices to actually print out bill of lading documents. We're saying we need to actually move away from that system of pen and paper, which is a highly opaque and very outdated system, to a digitized solution. And that's why we're leading the charge at OnePort 365.
You actually do. You certainly do have your plate full there, but obviously great work that you're doing, and is certainly, a revolution for the industry. But talk to us about this $5 million seed funding, and what are your plans for this money?
So we're super excited about what we're doing. We see what we're providing in terms of a solution as a Pan-African solution. So we're digitizing and scaling on the technology. To a large extent, we're developing and deploying more technology to the market. We have an in-house tech team building a lot of solutions around most of the things I just spoke about. So we're deploying most of the funds into technology, scaling and digitizing a highly opaque system that has run this way for the last 40 years. Into a modern day century solution. The world has moved significantly, right? But we're still in the stage whereby, things are still very much, you have to send this via courier, you have to send an email, you have to make a phone call to book, to book certain things. So we're scaling on technology, growing further with technology. We're also Pan-African, so we're super excited to be basically having a similar service to what we're doing in Nigeria right now. In the Ghanaian market, we're excited about Ghana. We're also excited about Kenya. So we're growing on the technology. We're scaling in terms of teams and in terms of offices. And we're also supporting SME traders in terms of small scale trade finance. So what does that mean? You have, for example, an SME trader, consolidated trader, who's moving cargo from Kano to, let's say, we use it, for example, Hamburg in Germany. We can actually look at the solutions whereby we can actually finance that logistics cost, and we can actually provide a bit of a gap in terms of payment solutions for these guys. So super excited about those 3 solutions. It's scaling on the technology, scaling in terms of trade finance, and also growing Pan-African in terms of the solution.
It's quite interesting that this is also coming at a time, what you're doing, at a time that the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement is gotten off the ground. As a continent, we're looking to increase intra-African trade, simplify payment systems, and get, SMEs here in individual countries, to tap into regional markets. So how is this, in what ways could this make life easier for these SMEs, these companies, these small business holders who want to tap into regional markets and just get even better connected across the continent?
It will make life a lot more easier because what our system would actually bring into place is actually a lot of efficiency in terms of the turnaround of the system. The African Free Trade Continental Agreement actually focuses a lot much, which we're excited about, is the fact that for a trader who's based out of Kaduna, he sees a market such as Mombasa, Kenya, equally the same way he sees a market such as Lagos in terms of equal opportunity. So we go from a market of about 200 million people in Nigeria into a market of about 1.2 billion. That's significant. Now, when you expand the market and there's still challenges in terms of movement of cargo, either on the roads or on the oceans, then it becomes a problematic scenario, right? So what does this mean? Rather than 10 to 14 days to be able to make a booking to move, let's say, from the port of Lagos to the port of, I'll give, for example, Point Nor in Congo, if we can turn around that process into a single day or less than a day's period, then what does that mean? The cargo can move faster. For most of these SME traders as well, they also have to wait till the cargo arrives at destination before they can get payment. So if we can turn around that process, efficiency improves. Also, that means these guys can trade more, increase their volumes, and also the market becomes bigger and easier for everybody to actually operate it.
All right, great stuff. Thank you so much, Hugh, for talking to us today. We appreciate your time on the show. Hugh Sola, Usidame, CEO and founder of OnePort 365. Well, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll head straight to the markets. Join us again.